Finally, ministers of Portugal conducted a meeting, as I told you in the last session, and they did a lot of things. This clip is going to become very important because I am going to tell you what is really going to happen in Portugal's nationality law. Not only nationality law, some other significant changes they are presenting in the Parliament House. Ministers approved changes, and they approved almost 4 to 5 changes, and these changes they are going to present in the Parliament in the coming 4 to 5 days. This is still little bad news because there was no minister who resisted this bill, and they approved this bill. Now all eyes on the Parliament, which type of discussions will be carried out one by one. These points I will explain. This is not the law, their proposals. These are the proposals. They will become law when president will sign. It will be published in Republica Diary, and then it will be implemented. There are a lot of time up to implementation of this law if it will be approved by the Parliament, because Parliament discussions, I am waiting which type of discussions will occur, which type of opposition leader points will raise. Either this bill will get clear-cut majority or not, because still we have no these information that opposition party is supporting this bill or not. Remember, the government alone mean that if opposition will not give vote in the favor of this bill, it's impossible to pass this bill. So this is significant that any opposition party members, what they are thinking, all scenario will clear when discussions will start in the Parliament. And now ministers opened this bill, almost all points I am going to explain. First time this bill is open for the public, and points which were you listening, there are changes, and what are the changes I will tell you. First of all, I told you in my last clip and my prediction, at least you must confess that I gave you information in advance that time will count for resident card. They clear now that the time of the nationality will count from the resident card. Now it's not 10 years, it's more than 10 years. So my information was absolutely correct. So this is the first information. The second information, they are going to change after resident card. After getting resident card, you have to stay for 10 years for South Asian. You are South Asians, you are Indians, you are Pakis, you belong to Sri Lanka, you belong to Bangladesh, you belong to Maldives, you belong to Asian countries, South Asian countries. You have to stay in Portugal for 10 years after getting a resident card. So it's clear now, story is the same which I told you in the last clip. 12 to 15 year time it's looking, because almost 2 years they are taking when IRN process your case of nationality after even 10 years. And before resident card you will stay 2 to 3 years. That will also not count. It's very heartbreaking news, but still I am searching glittering points. Still I have some doubt. Might be this bill may not approve due to opposition party or even president and even some legal system of Portugal. There are some hurdles, resistivity in this bill. So therefore you must be hopeful, still hopeful. But negative thing is that ministers did not stop this bill. They approved the bill to present in the Parliament in the coming days, 4 to 5 days. This bill will be presented in the Parliament House. Another thing regarding this bill which is also much significant, because one thing all consultants, agents, lawyers of Portugal were talking about, and they were very keen to tell you by motivation that this is the best way to get nationality by your children. Your childbirth in Portugal gave you nationality. This is the point lawyers were speaking in the media, and they were guiding immigrants that give birth to your children inside Portugal and get the nationality. This law it has been in the Shiga has been changed in this proposal. Please remember one thing: the law will be approved by the president, then it will be valid. These are proposals. So proposal is that when the baby will birth of the baby, at the time of the birth of the baby, parents should have been stay earlier to the baby 3 years in Portugal. Now you are getting me why they put this long time staying condition for the parents, so that parents who want to use the delivery of the baby for the nationality, they should not use this one. And if the baby birth will take place, at least before that they should be in Portugal for 3 years. Indians used this facility for different countries. Now America is talking about that many Indians are used in the birth of the babies for getting green card, because there is also a rule citizenship was stopped by Donald Trump in America. Very famous case in the Supreme Court, and the investigation shows, and US authorities are confirming that we are changing this law for Indians. Reason for Indians, because most of the cases we reported, I am not talking about, there are many good immigrants of Indians, 99%, but 1% in all countries are present who use immigration laws by adverse way, and whole communities, whole world suffered a new law. The Donald Trump then made a birthright citizenship cancellation of the birthright citizenship. Now that is in the Supreme Court case, and that looked not in favor of immigrants, because Supreme Court is also discussing that baby birth never mean that parents will be given citizenship on this spot. So things are becoming difficult to get the nationality by birth. So people were using this trick in all countries. Portugal imitated that from America. Now they also now aware, they included this point in this proposed bill, that anybody who is thinking by consultant, agent or lawyers that the baby birth will be used to get the nationality, there is no time. And that was the counseling of one lawyer I was listening in social media. He was telling, your baby birth will give you nationality on this spot. And he was motivating immigrant. Why you are getting a resident card by 5 years wait, nationality by 5 years wait? Why you are working and paying taxes? This is the easiest one. Have a couple. If you have couple with you, your baby birth inside Portugal will give you nationality. Law is there, but law was being misused. When law will be misused, definitely the Portugal and other countries will think to change the immigration law. That is also the part of this proposal. Another part of this proposal that is also imitated. Nobody is telling you, but I will tell you. Now Australia, first of all I will give you example from Australia, then America, then Canada, and then I will come to Portugal. You will understand Portugal is not making law by himself. They are imitating from other countries. I will give you evidence. So what is the Australia made one law last days, that if any person who is an Australian citizen and he committed major crime and he got punishment more than 5 years, and the court orders also that he is a culprit, meaning he is a crime holder. So court order can cancel citizenship of that Australian national. Please note this point. Now go to the America. The Americans now recently they made significant changes. in their immigration laws, and they clearly mentioned that if you will be against American citizen, if you will be against America, if you will be criminal, your US citizenship will be cancelled. Go to the UK. UK is telling that if you will be criminal, your UK nationality will be cancelled. Similar law, similar proposal is the part of the current bill. So current bill actually consists of the world immigration changes just days before. One by one I will explain. So they are getting these laws from developed countries, and they are following developed countries. Mean that if anybody is having Portugal passport, Portugal national, and he commit any crime, and he is he declared culprit, and he he is punished for 5 years, and the court can order the cancellation of the Portugal citizenship. This point is taken from developed countries' immigration laws. Another point, the 10 years nationality law, I will explain. The UK, just days back, PM of UK Starmer told that we are going to increase ILR time, mean that citizenship time, indefinite to remain time, from the 5 years to the 10 years. Therefore, they clearly told that if you will stay 10 years, then you will be considered for citizenship. This is the first country of the world who took this long time before citizenship. That law is still not valid, under debate in UK, not implemented yet. That was little hope for me that might be some people in the Portugal parliament, might be president, might be some legal system oppose this long time. 10 years, too much time. And nobody is talking about that this is not the 10 years. This is also a cruelty to the immigrant, that we should say straightforward to the immigrant that this is not 10 years, 2 years almost in getting resident card, time will not be counted, and after 10 years, after resident card, your case will be processed in IRN office for passport. That will also consume 1.5 to 2 years. These 4 years you have to sum up with the 10 years. So this is also a very a long journey to get the passport. But I have one point in the mind, that these all changes are not in favor of immigrants. These all changes are not in favor of Portugal. There are two stakeholders. One is Portugal country, one is the immigrant, which I am looking, these two changes are not in favor of Portugal. Now almost 60% chance, which is looking that the law will change in Parliament House, but I think up to implementation there are some hurdles, resistivity in different categories. Might be president don't synergistic with this bill, and he may not sign. Remember when he signed file lock closing, he was going to public opinions parties, he was speaking, my intention is not to close the file lock forever. And he mentioned his concern that I want immigrants, useful immigrants, more and more. And closing of expression of interest, the president spoke that I signed because to clear the backlog of application. So this is the mindset of the president of the Portugal. And almost one thing I am sure, that president of Portugal on this spot will not sign this bill without investigation. Might be president sent, which is 90% chance it will send to legal team. Look at that. Is that immigration laws supporting this bill? Might be they raised some point. It's too much time. You are going to increase from 5 years to 15 years, not 10 years. Multiply by 3. So that will cost a lot of energy for immigrants, long time stay involved, and I don't think the immigrants will keep staying under these conditions inside Portugal, and hopefully the law will be resisted elsewhere. Still, the law is going. Still, don't resist. And ministers approved. I am updating you. I will keep updating you. Immigration analysis of almost all developed countries, including Portugal. And keep watching my channel, because I will tell you almost all updates by real analysis. And now clear one thing I am going to remind you once again: it's not 10 years. Laws has been the proposal are being presented in the parliament in the coming 3 to 4 days. The second one, the children birth. If you are willing that by childbirth you will get the nationality, no, you cannot get now. According to this bill, which will be presented in the parliament, that 3 years before birth of the baby will be required. And also important, the time which is not being conversated in the social media, that the time of the passport nationality will count from the resident card. The time before resident card will not be counted elsewhere. Hopefully you will subscribe, like and share. Keep watching my channel for real, true and factual updates, analysis, predictions. Thank you very much.